Hey there, and welcome to the Second Lunch Podcast. We have a very special guest today, stand-up comedian Ian Bagg. You may know Ian from.
Yes.
I'm going to read your credits here.
No.
Last Comic Standing, Conan,
Boring.
Late Late Show,
Boring.
Tonight Show, Montreal
Boring.
Comedy Festival.
Boring.
How many specials do you have now? 4? Working on 5.
4,500.
Co-host of the weekly hockey podcast, Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me to your podcast,
Sorry.
fellas.
Late. But, yeah, let's jump right into it. You want to do Tinderella? So we have a segment. It started for our listeners to get to know us. Kind of like first date questions, but we ran out of first date questions, and now they're just completely random.
A little bit more deranged.
Random questions.
Yeah.
Certainly more deranged, yeah. So, Cole.
Who do you ask them to?
It's usually it's each other.
It's a group answer.
yeah.
Man, I love it.
Everybody
so
answers, so.
We know each other quite well now. But Ian, we'll start this segment off with you. What is the weirdest thing you wanted to be when you grew up?
Ooh.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing I wanted to be, a truck driver.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
You know why? Because when I was a kid, smoking a bandit was huge.
Okay.
And my God, when I was a little kid, I want to drive that truck and I want to fight the law. I want to take a circus animal across country. Come on now. Down the road.
They made the Teamsters Union look a lot sexier than it
sure
probably
did.
was.
Sure did. Like at the time, it seemed great, but now that I look back on it, I'm like, aim a little higher, kid.
Yeah.
What about the hair? Were you going to commit to that?
What's that?
Well, back in the day, didn't you used to... shit, I just aged you there a little bit. Sorry.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Back when you were
The bald
younger.
guy just asked me a question about hair. What about the hair? I can't answer that, bud. I don't know where it went off track for you. But all I can say is if you go to Istanbul, you'll be a different man. Sure, you'll look like a little bit in pain for a couple months, but after that, flowing, showing. About the hair, the truck driver and hair?
Yeah, mullet kind of.
The mullet. Well, back then they didn't have the mullets though. Like that was mullets back. Like I grew up in the '80s, right? Mm-hmm. And the mullets were the party people. That was
cutting edge.
That was.
You could trust a mullet then, because I'm not
as
sure.
a doctor. That was your finance person, your banker. They all had mullets, and I'm not talking like little mullets. I'm talking down like perfecto. Business up front, down to the middle of their back, and they'd flip it over in the middle of a bank meeting. Not that I was that old. I just seen that thing. It was like everybody had them. And I was like, I'm gonna get one of those haircuts. Yeah.
Back then it was the crew cut you didn't trust.
Yeah. By crew cut, you mean Motley Crue.
I mean, now you're talking my language.
Shout at my hairdresser.
Was being a stand-up always plan A for you, or was truck driver a distinct possibility for a while?
Well, it gets even weirder, right? So I was headed off I was working in a gold mine.
Really?
Yeah, and I was an assistant to a explosives engineer, and I was going to go become an explosives engineer. And then I want to do stand-up. I got to try stand-up, and I didn't show up at school. Boom! I was addicted. To stand-up.
What is an assistant to? Do you get to press the button at least?
Sometimes I got to press the button. I got to fill the holes. I got to make the explosives. I got to all sorts. Deliver the explosives. Oh, it was
a lot to walk away from.
As an 18-year-old, it was the best. Am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was the best fucking job ever of all times. And I was like on a mountain, and I was blowing things up. They gave me my own 4x4. It was just like wicked. And there's a little town at the bottom of the hill called Hyder, Alaska, and nobody lived there, and they made their own booze, right? And we'd go in there, and that was my first time penis was touched by a lady. I was peeing. She came in and held my penis. I'm like, this is the best thing ever.
Wow.
That sounds more clinical than it does sexual. But
She wasn't checking for anything. She was just practicing. I'm thinking about getting a penis. You mind if I hold yours?
That's a lot to walk away from. Usually you hear comics that are like, I was living on my friend's couch. I figured, why not?
Yeah, usually comics are losers. Not looking at you guys, but
you walked away from a cushy gig.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
wow.
did you have? Do you want to be anything weird?
God, it's funny that you mentioned truck driver, because I always assume if my employer finds out about this and fires me, that's my fallback.
Hold on, do you have a job?
It's for now, but yeah, it's temporarily. But
it's funny that you asked him what kind of job would you get, and he's got a job, but he didn't bring up that job. He brought up truck driver.
The type of work that I'm in, it's not something people grow up. They want to be astronauts. They don't want to be like, I'm going to work in insurance compliance.
Dude,
a job.
That's pretty cool.
I wanted to be a hack growing up. I wanted to be a ventriloquist. That was the weirdest thing. First I wanted to be Elvis.
Dude,
realized Elvis was dead.
Okay,
I'm gonna correct you right now. Ventriloquists aren't hack, but there is hack ventriloquists. Just to let you know, those fellow whose lips move, those are hack ventriloquists.
that's
yeah.
true.
Look at him; his lips are moving. Kid doesn't even put an effort into it.
That dummy's not talking. Bullshit.
It's like
I don't
rule
believe it.
one.
Yeah. I can believe that you wanted to be a ventriloquist. I think every kid when they see that, like, I could have my own best friend.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Trent. You don't need to hang with me anymore.
It's a cool skill. I mean, I thought it was when I was
Yeah.
a kid, at least. Maybe now it's not
Magic too.
sexy, right? Yeah, there's an inverse relationship between your age and how cool those things are.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just knowing the drama with
Sorry,
comedy,
we interrupted your hack story.
Oh, no, that was it. No, I wanted to be a ventriloquist. That was
Way to go, you hack.
first time I ever did comedy.
At first, I
was
didn't
like,
want to put an effort into comedy, and then I decided I would.
No, I just wanted to say really offensive things, but have it be somebody else's fault.
Yeah, see, exactly. Yeah, you're blaming. You victimized this guy and you blamed him.
This dummy's the one who said the N
I had a guy
word, not me.
I had this guy send me hate the other day on one of my social medias, and he did LOL something, and then something, and then said, and I said I would have taken offense to that if you hadn't started off with LOL. No straight man does that, right? Right? And then he came back with, I almost found that funny, but you hack. No, he said, what he said? He said, you non-funny, who's the guy with Jeff Dunham?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I go, that would have hurt me I said, that would have hurt me if you'd used somebody funny. I said, you were hellishly bad at this.
That's also, I don't think that's your work. That's not fair.
Yeah.
I don't think that you're in the racist ventriloquist dummy space.
Man, if you're going to have a dummy, make sure he's ventriloquist.
Yeah, better be
Make sure I just went off the track. Make sure he's a ventriloquist if you have a dummy.
So the dummy's got a dummy.
Oh, man. That's that kid on the bike, on the tricycle riding around, killing people.
All right, I'll pull up the next one here.
Okay.
Important question, Chris. I'll start with you. If you had to eat a crayon, which color would you choose?
I feel like it's got to be red. Yellow and orange. All the brighter colors, they get all, I don't know.
I thought you were going to give me like a Crayola trademark name or something here.
Yeah, it's a flavor.
Yeah, right. Macaroni and
Tangerine.
cheese.
Red color.
Oh, my God, that's orange.
You got the original 8-pack over here of
Yellow, black, blue.
it's like whatever the M&M's colors are. That's what I've got. No, see, I would go with mac and cheese or Razzle Dazzle Rose.
Is there actually a color called mac and cheese?
Yeah, there is for sure.
Does it come with clumps in it?
It's
Because
like-
my mom didn't stir hard.
This needs a little more milk, Mom. Yeah, it's that nuclear grade orange color that almost glows in the dark. It is,
love it.
yeah, true blue box macaroni color.
Oh, you got one of those big boxes of crayons. I just got the one that had like
Yeah, it's got the
20 colors
built-in
in it.
sharpener that doesn't fucking work.
I can see why you're in insurance. You got a lot of crayons when you're a kid. You know how to mark, you know how to mark things. Why sure you got a problem right here? Somebody's going to lose a limb.
That's how you convince people to buy insurance. You got to start with different colored pens.
Yes. Look at this guy's got knowledge.
It's like John Madden with the telestrator.
Yeah.
You just kind of dizzy them with.
Is that mac and cheese orange? This kid knows what he's doing.
What about you?
He might be eating a crayon, but at least he picked the best one.
Yeah, exactly. There's some logic involved. He's not the dumbest crayon eater I've ever seen.
Not the dumbest crayon in the box. The dullest crayon in the box.
Did you have a preferred?
I don't think I've ever eaten a crayon, but I know something about it. I'd probably put it right between my teeth and just push.
Give the orthodontist something to work on later.
just so that color doesn't go out for years. And every time you go in to see the dentist, they try to get it out, but they can't just get it.
No, even the little
How
flosser
is it
pick's not
purple
gonna.
in here? What?
Yeah.
It's been years.
Oh, that'd be great to have fluorescent teeth when the lights go off. Like like the ones when you see jizz. So I just look like I jizz on my teeth every time.
Well, is it going to be
on a black light?
Ian, what have you been up to?
What color crayon did you eat? I ate black light jizz color crayon. Woo!
Really?
It tastes like stamps.
really? It smells a bit like chlorine. Now, would your
This is a
teeth
good
be?
podcast. You guys are surprising. You guys are like orange or macaroni cheese fucking.
We're getting.
You guys are good.
I'm now wondering if the fluorescent teeth are completely glowing or is it spattered like a Jackson Pollock kind of a thing?
Nah.
I'm just thinking the episode's definitely going to be called Blacklight Jizz Teeth.
Backlight. I think that
Or
should be the
just
name on your
crayon.
next jersey.
Better
That's a
than
long
Grubauer,
name, too.
that's
That's
for
where
sure.
it starts to bend around. But
Check this Russian kid out.
Burakovsky, eat your heart out.
Who's the defenseman that comes in around 7 foot? Who's that? I want to say number 14. I went to the game last night.
Alexiak?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You're talking about Big Rig? Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. What's he coming in at? Like 6'8"?
I think he's
6'9"?
6'7", 6'8".
yeah.
something. He's huge.
He is massive.
Yeah.
And not
If
too
I
bad.
could give anybody in the NHL a back rub, it's him.
Good luck getting up to it.
Yeah, right.
You'd
Get a
have to
step
sit
stool.
down. I'll stand.
Why would you give him a background? Decided why have we decided him?
I feel like, for one, he needs it. He seems a little wound up. Two muscles on this guy.
Well, I'm pretty sure one of us on this show is a bear.
Yeah, Chris gets that title. I'll give Chris.
Who would you give?
One of us knows about black lights. Can't even say it. Gino, cover your ears.
I specifically did not choose that crayon to eat.
Because of my Vince Dunn, my Blues fandom, I would give the back rub to Vince Dunn if I'm going
man.
somebody on that.
Doesn't have to be a Kraken player.
Doesn't have to be a Kraken player.
Can't be Sidney Crosby. That's way too obvious.
And he doesn't need his back rub. He needs those giant ass cheeks.
Right! Oh my! Thank you. Finally, a guest who gets it. His ass is insane.
It's this like little pants and then giant ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Size
See where he gets all
42
the
ass.
power from.
Those got to be custom pants. There's no way you're not going to Kohl's and getting
And
those.
you're also like, what else does a kid with an ass like that do for a living?
Yeah, that's either that or running back.
I don't know, but I want to see.
It's just going to be knocking people over in the factory.
This guy's a liability.
Crosby backed up again, and now nothing's coming out from Amazon.
Machine's going to be out 6 weeks. Would you rather live underwater or in space?
Ooh. I don't know. I think underwater seems more scary than space.
I was
agree.
thinking the same thing.
Like it's nothing's ever
agree.
snuck up on you from space. You see
No.
it coming for a while. In the water, you're like, what is touching me?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So space.
There's no sharks in space.
Yeah.
That was it.
It's actually
for me.
that's actually a good movie right there. There's no sharks in space. It's about a bunch of people that go to Mars, and turns out there's sharks there.
It's
Made
What a
out of
twist.
Oh my
fire.
God. And they're run by a turtle colony.
This has legs, Ian. Keep going.
You've been wondering what Yertle's second act was.
I'm going to tell you right now, this actor strike is over, and it's about to get busy.
Okay, this reminds me of a question we've asked a couple times before.
All right.
What do you think would win in a
Time to get
completely
serious.
neutral setting
Yes.
between a great white shark and a grizzly bear if they were the same size?
It's a neutral setting.
So both can breathe or
It exists
whatever.
in some sort of void.
Yeah, I'm just like,
You're thinking about this too much.
because if I'm gonna be honest with you, he needs to be in water. Shark needs to be in water.
Yeah.
Or
Okay,
or he's not moving around.
Imagine
much.
he.
Let's do this. It's a foot of water,
A foot of water. Okay.
right? So he's poking out a little bit, but he's still able to move around.
Yeah, okay.
And not fast, but just enough that he can bounce back. And I go with the grizzly.
Same here. I feel
Yeah.
like the turning radius on the
Yeah.
shark is just
Yeah.
there's not
It's
enough.
The grizzly just gets in there, pow, pow, with those claws. Pow, pow. Welcome to fucking Yellowstone, bitch. Pow, pow, pow. Cocaine.
Half the time when I see a
Yeah, there's no cocaine shark.
There probably has been the amount of drugs that have fallen
Oh,
into
yeah.
the ocean.
Yeah, but it affects you different. It goes through you, through you with the water. It's a little lower down. I tell you, it gets into dusty. Dust turns
Yeah,
into
snorting versus rubbing it on the gun is a little different.
Yeah. No, because he'd have to do this.
Rubbing it on his gills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You raise a good point, though. That, like, I've seen...
There's been no points that have been good on this show. None of us have raised a point. I don't know.
But like, I think they can find out how many people are using drugs by going into the sewers and, like, testing the fish.
Yeah,
or testing
Really?
the water. Yeah.
Everything like drugs and disease and...
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What do those Ninja Turtles do to them?
Yeah, exactly. Is that why that rat was wearing yellow face the whole time?
Yeah. How many of
That was
these?
a weird character.
And a lab coat?
These guys were high as hell.
It is
But
how
yeah,
they
the-
figure out everything via the poop, right? They just check the poop.
Yeah, that was how they were figuring out when the pandemic was raging. They were like, all right, numbers are going down because the poop numbers drop before people actually feel better.
Little they don't. Everybody was just on keto, so nobody was shitting.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you get past that, you're in the early stage where all you do is shit, because that's the keto flu.
There's two different spots. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
diarrhea and non-diarrhea.
Exactly. It's kind of like
that's
how
life there, right?
It's like how cheese. It's either poop forever or never again. There's no.
It's interesting with cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
know.
can. It's some
was-
cheese. It's some
Was
cheese.
that,
is
was
gonna,
that the first
gonna
point
grab
made?
you?
Diarrhea cheese? That was the
Diarrhea.
first point that's been made on the podcast.
Yeah.
so
It's
far.
interesting about diarrhea cheese.
All right, let's go to the last Tinderella question here. What's the weirdest interaction you've
I'll
ever
do another
had?
date with you guys.
What's that?
I'll do a Tinderella. I'll go on another date with you.
All right,
fellas.
he's still.
Sorry, go ahead.
We've got him for another 20
I
minutes or
should
so.
interrupted your conversation. Apologize. I'm a dick to the people that watch this.
Not at all.
Should have never invited me on the show because I will say what I feel. Okay, go ahead.
What is the weirdest interaction you've ever had with a
This.
famous person or celebrity? No, this doesn't.
Oh, I can tell you,
flattered.
Brad Pitt.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the circumstance?
I was on the red carpet for something, right? And they're like, "Hey, you're gonna interview Brad Pitt, right?" And I'm like, "Well, you guys, all this Entertainment Tonight's right there, and you guys are gonna pick me. Well, good luck, right?" So, I noticed instantly Angelina Jolie is in the interview right beside us, so he's not really paying attention to me, right?
Yeah, paying attention to her.
Yeah,
interview.
he's paying attention to her interview, trying to take care of her because she's a fucking lunatic. Right? She's gonna steal his children. He's gonna steal his children in about 6 months. So he's just trying to pay attention, right? So I say to him, "Hey man, have you ever had a chocolate covered pretzel?"
That's the lead question.
No, that isn't even the lead question. This is when it's getting weird. And he goes, "Why would I have one of those?" I'm like, "Oh, you poor fucker." You know, that's what I'm thinking. But
What kind of question is that?
it's the question that started off the whole conversation was, "Hey fella, what's your name?" And it just went downhill from there. Brad Pitt. I'm like, I know you dipshit. Jesus Christ. I was hoping you'd have a sense of humor, but no, I'm not Tom Segura. That's the only humor Brad Pitt likes. I'll tell you what, Angelina Jolie should have taken your children.
It's
You're not a good dad. Can't have a conversation with Ian Bagg.
Ian gets the last laugh.
Ian
You should've
takes all
lost
the
custody.
children.
Yeah.
You should have never had children. Good looking guy with you should be fucking blessed with no sperm.
Right.
Or sperm with no head, just like no tails. Even no heads, that'd be bad because they'd still get there. Yeah. And then you just got a weird looking kid, but no tails. Nope.
No chance. You're not fertilizing that egg.
Yeah. Unless you bring the egg to the sperm.
Chris, did you have a particularly weird?
I've got a couple. I can only think of one right now.
Oh, let's have it.
I met Vladi Divac. Do you like basketball?
Yeah.
I was at a Bucks game in Milwaukee, and it was at the Bradley Center, which, have you ever been there?
Yeah.
It's like if a piece of shit took a shit and that shit threw up, that's the Bradley Center. It's the worst place I've ever been.
I wasn't
going to
go that far. Was
It's horrible. It's worse than most minor league hockey arenas. And so he's on the main concourse because he had to come up from courtside to...
He had to run the popcorn machine in between.
Right.
Because that's how shitty of an arena was.
And I had just finished watching him do a courtside interview in English. But he comes up and I'm like, Vladi, like I just wanted to say hi. And he pretended like he didn't know English.
Vladi, we know you.
After
I mean,
I
that's a
saw
good
him
bit.
speak. It was so
really funny.
I wasn't even mad at him. It was so funny.
What did he say? Anything? Did he say anything? Did he speak in Japanese?
He did this thing where he like pointed at his ear, then his mouth, like.
Oh, you're like, oh no, he's got an ear infection.
Yeah. The telephone receiver's disconnected.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yes.
I don't talk to you. No.
Yeah. I have no fun stories about celebrity interactions. I've
Maybe
just
one
seen
day
a
you'll
few.
meet him.
Yeah. We'll see.
Is it right now? It's happening right now.
Yeah, this is the
Have you
piece.
met celebrities? Who's you met for celebrities?
God, basically nobody. But
bumped
I've
into Jack
been to a
Black
few
once,
different.
right?
Yeah, well, Jack Black.
Tell us one because he's basically nobody. So the person you met wasn't impressive. let's kill somebody's.
No, I'm the person that always sees somebody and is like, "Oh shit, never mind." Like,
shit, never mind.
Yeah.
Oh
when
shit,
I was
never
13,
mind.
I even saw like Nick Swardson. That's not even a very famous guy.
I was gonna say
I saw Nick Swardson. Like,
I can take you to the
I
laundry
can't
room as
bother
well.
him.
You can meet him right there.
I've met Sean Kemp twice, and both times it's
Got
just
you
been
pregnant.
yeah. That's
He's the one that got everybody
and
pregnant.
then
right?
Angelina Jolie took our fucking kid.
My dad met Sean Kemp too, and he met him at this bar called the Soundtrack in Inner Bay, and I was like, "Dad, isn't that a dive bar?" And
Sean
he's
Kemp
like,
at a bar?
He's like, "No, that's a crack bar." I was like, "It's a different evolutionary stage of the dive bar."
I love that your dad that's a crack bar. Son.
Hey,
That's what me and your mom were doing.
that's honestly a more important piece of education than like trigonometry.
Oh, absolutely.
Place
Knowing
to
where the crack
avoid.
bars are? My God.
I was trying to find the crack bar so I would know how to get away from there.
So, ended up 4 years.
Yeah. Next time I saw Sean, we were at Walla Walla
Is it
State.
Sean Kemp or who was the other guy? Who's the guy that was in the fight with the guy that owned the team? Who was that? Was that Sean Kemp? No, that wasn't Sean Kemp. Who might?
That sounds like Gary Payton to me.
That's who it is. Gary Payton got everybody pregnant because he was the glove, but he never wore one. Right?
I don't know. Does Gary have that many?
I don't know. I know
he's got-
Sean Kemp has 1,000 kids.
Is it Sean Kemp has a Gary Payton
got
has
the
one? He wore a glove.
Got to play better.
That's
defense.
why they call him the glove.
Guy would not get teeth all glowing for people.
Got to play better defense on your income tax than that.
Hold on, we're gonna take a time out and we're gonna find out if it's Gary Payton or Sean Kemp that got everybody pregnant.
We're
One of them
go to
was.
the phones.
It's weird that the guy that hanging out the dive
Who
bar
has
wouldn't
more
be the
kids?
guy.
Right.
Yeah,
What does crack do to your virility? What does that do to your
makes
sperm
you
count?
horny. I don't know one crackhead that isn't trying to fuck everybody. Like that's all they try to do. Like you have a burger, you're gonna lie down.
Totally rearranges your agenda.
Yeah, you're just gonna maybe have a nap.
That's
Maybe
crack
not
nap?
get. Yeah. No, if you have a burger, you're just not.
Okay.
You're not. No, like no. There's no napping on crack. You gotta fuck somebody, and then you gotta get back on the street and try to find some more crack and fuck somebody again.
It's
Not the same person because you're a crackhead and you're busy.
it's a vicious but simple cycle.
Oh man.
Chris, we've got
Do you know
10, 15 minutes.
you know who Bonnie McFarlane is?
I don't think so.
She's a really funny comic, and she said she was trying to get pregnant. She said, I can't get pregnant. She goes, I should probably find a dirty couch to lean over because every crackhead that does that gets pregnant. So funny. People flew. Oh!
Yeah. I've got these conception concerns, and there's some teenager getting knocked up on accident in a Buick somewhere.
That took a weird turn. Everybody was full grown until you said it's a teenager.
I did make that. I did.
Yeah. There was no need for that.
Nope.
I know it's very popular in Belgium, but there's no need to bring that
Really
up.
revealed my true colors.
Because
to
those
Ian here
people
in
over
the
there,
11th hour.
yeah. Them and the Dutch, they love a good teenage girl.
Chris, do you want to do This Week in History, or should we do headlines? You're the headlines, man.
Let's do This Week in History.
Okay. These are just some...
Basically more questions.
yeah, just questions based on...
I love your style. I love your style of asking questions in different forms.
All right, This Week in History, November 12th, 1892. Pudge Heffelfinger becomes the first professional football player.
Oh man.
With that kind of name, what do you think his day job was?
Well, yeah, he's probably working in a chocolate factory, like just putting his thumb on the top of Reese's Pieces bars.
That's his...
Because Pudge Nipplefinger was his
Pudge Heffelfinger.
right?
Yeah.
But every 15th bar he checks, there's a check by Pudge.
Yeah, that's his...
I figured
But
he was
he's got
a
such a massive finger because he's a football player, covers the whole thing.
That's why it was the first pro.
I
First
figured
ever
Fudge
paid.
Factory, Pudge the Fudge was a whole thing.
I didn't even go that way. I didn't even think of that. You're very talented, young man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Can I open for
Pudge
you, or-
Fudge.
You need an opener? Let's get out
Let
of
me
here.
tell
You need
you-
a back rub? Let's go find Alexiak and let's see.
You need a back rub. That took a weird turn. As a matter
That's
of
called a
fact,
callback.
matter of fact, I do. but I still can't give you any hope. I can't still give you any work. Oh man, I am worse. I am worse than Louis C.K. I'll get a back rub and not give any work. I'm a bad motherfucker. I will take the hand job and you will not get. He didn't take anything like that, right? Sorry, Louis.
No, he was just jerking off in front of him.
Who doesn't? I see it on the street all the time. Those people don't get Me Too'd. They just get, he's so sad. Fucking Me Too him.
He's just on 3rd and Pine. You know? He's just by
I've seen this 10 times today.
Yeah, 10 times by the same guy. Nobody's spoken to him. That guy's on crack because there's no way he can make that much juice without being on crack.
Well, now we know the true name for this episode. It'll
Jizz
be
makes more
Ian
crack. Or crack makes more jizz. There we go.
Crack makes more jizz.
All right, November 12th, 1927. Leon Trotsky is expelled from the Communist Party, leaving Stalin in undisputed control of the Soviet Union. Were you ever expelled or suspended from school?
No, but I was blackballed by the Montreal Comedy Festival.
How did that happen?
I have no idea. Yeah, I've been blackballed for years. And I just seen the leader of the show of the.
Oh, did you get to confront them on the?
Yeah, I actually did. I was at the Comedy Store the other night, and one of the guys was there, and somebody else from the club said to him, "Oh man, you know all the Canadians," and I said, "Just the ones he's blackballed from the festival." and he turned around and walked away. I'm like, fucking couldn't even laugh at that. No sense of humor, that fucking piece of shit festival.
What'd you do?
I asked to be paid in American. I was living in America. They hired me, and I got a check. And I was at a point in my career I needed to be paid in America because I was living in America, wasn't making much money, and I went to the festival. Kind of got to pay my rent. $700 Canadian is not going to help me out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. My rent is $1,200 American. I'm making $1,000 at your festival. Your boy would like to be paid in American because everybody else from America is getting paid in America. Well, you're a problem child, Ian Bagg.
Because you're Canadian, you don't get to.
Yeah, that was exactly. You may have an American address, but you're Canadian, therefore you get Canadian.
25% off.
Yeah, yeah. So I caused a stink about that, and then I was on a show, and there was this guy that had his name was Andrew, and he had stolen a bunch of jokes off a guy named Glenn, and there was a big kerfuffle in Canada.
Right.
And I was on a show, and it was Andrew, then me, then Glenn, or Glenn.
Nice tense sandwich that you're
right,
in there.
Right. And they're like, "Don't talk about it." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, now I got to talk about it." Right. So I went on stage and I just instead of Andrew, I said, "Big hand for Glenn," right? Because he'd stolen all the jokes from Glenn, right? And it was hilarious. But the people that have a comedy festival, no sense of humor at all.
Well, Ian, we're not paying you today, but we're not paying you in Canadian, so I hope you can.
I love that. You know, you guys are honest.
We're upfront about it.
That is why you'll never have a festival. You guys will be funny. You'll be honest. You'll be drinking beers with koozies on them.
Right.
Oh my God,
I
love it. 3 beer boys. That's what I'm calling you. Third Wheel Podcast. You guys should be called 3 beer boys.
I do like
from
that.
Third Wheel Podcast Studio. 3 beer boys.
Did you guys need mascots or?
First few episodes, we were 6 beer boys. And
what are you guys called?
Was not Second Lunch. Reflective
of Is that about beer?
I got you a koozie if you.
Yeah. Sadly, I'm going to change it to 3 beer boys, and I'm just going to put 3 young Asian boys in it.
What was this podcast about?
Thanks, man. That's nice of you.
Absolutely.
That's nice of you guys to give me a gift. Thanks, guys. I didn't expect that.
The least we could do.
Do I have to leave now?
That's the least we can do if we don't pay you.
Oh, you still got a few minutes.
Yeah, you get to leave in a few minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was getting kicked off after giving the
No.
You get out of here.
No,
you
we
take
still
a
have
gift and you fuck off, sir.
Well, there's
even
just
give 'em a
so many
chance to
sober
promote
comics
anything.
now. Like, I don't know who's sober, and like that's why I asked you before this. Do you care if we drink?
I am sober,
Okay.
but I'm not sober. I just
Choose
the
to
way
be
my
sober.
show works. If I'm hungover, it is a bad show.
Right.
So, and I prefer comedy over drinking.
Because you do a lot of crowd work. So
No,
you,
I do none. Anyways, your face was awesome.
I was like, what? This is all planned? These must
No, it's all, I travel with all those people. I have a busload of people I take from tour to tour, from town to town. I just had some guy just yelling at me on YouTube today. I think your crowd should get half their money back because you use them for material.
Oh my god!
I'm like,
fuck, dying to fire.
My God, yeah, dying to fire.
That's so.
Well, you're taking it a little further than I did.
That's so annoying.
Yeah, people are dumb.
Well, also, aren't people coming to the show knowing who you are and
Yeah,
knowing
like
that
that.
they may be part of that?
So I'm not supposed to do what they're showing up for?
Right.
You, sir, have no idea how marketing works.
I think they owe me money. Actually.
Yeah, and they do. They pay a pretty penny for their tickets.
I've been wanting to ask this actually for a
Scorpio.
while. There's at least what I've heard other comics attribute it to is like kind of an East Coast style of comedy where
East Coast, West Coast rap.
comics will kind of do crowd work and guide it towards material that they have. Do you feel, is that something you do, or you just feel like you naturally fall into the material that you already have?
I have sometimes you'll just fall. You'll just this goes with something like, and the way I can tell you that works is because if you watch my show, it's never in order except for 3 jokes. Mm-hmm. So it's
where are those 3 jokes? Is that
at
off
the end?
top? Oh, it's
at the end.
Okay, closure, yeah.
That's it. I end with that, and then the guy that does all my clipping actually posted my closer the other day, so I think I'm gonna have to write a new closer, which is fucking brutal. But yeah, I prefer the conversation and just having fun. Like we did, like doing a podcast like this is so much fun for me because it just get to be stupid and let your mind go wherever you want. Right. So it's fantastic. Yeah. That's and I try not. They do this thing now where like, oh, you do great crowd work. I'm like, nah, man, I just do comedy. Like it just happens to be one of my strengths is that part of the show.
Think that way,
but it's just like I just think we're all comedians and we just do it. Like I don't like it doesn't need to be sectioned off, you know. Right. But that's how America.
Told me
the world is right now.
Years ago, the most terrifying thing I've ever heard, and it almost made me quit comedy because I didn't think I could do it.
Is it got anything to do with anybody running show business?
You told me.
Back to the story.
That you do most of your writing on stage.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, absolutely. In my life. I'll take. How
much prepared material do you go up there with?
I don't really go with any. I know that sounds stupid. I have stuff, and who knows if it's going to come out. I like to talk about my day. Sometimes I'll grab that, and that'll continue on. You know.
How often do you bomb?
Once in a while. Yeah, everybody bombs. Every so often you just get. I'm like,
I feel like
wow, this is not going the way I thought it would.
I feel like being less. I don't want to say less prepared. I feel like having less material.
I like it. You sound like my mom now.
I feel like having less material would leave more room to bomb, which is why I asked.
When I bomb, it's because they don't want to play.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right. It doesn't matter if I'm doing material or not material. They just don't want to play with me.
Is it usually like Late Show Friday?
No. Late Show Friday can go in the ditch, but it's not a bomb. Right, that's a different, like a bomb.
Maybe you're what's keeping them awake. I'm just thinking like, what are the ones I struggle with most? And it's like Late Show Friday. Those people like woke up that morning and now they're drinking. Yeah, it's fucking late.
Yeah, it's definitely it can be a struggle that thing. But I think bombing is not connecting. Right. So why am I not connecting? Well, they didn't want to play with me. I don't know. Like, was it one person in the crowd that tainted the crowd? Like that can happen. Where somebody's like just mumbling, and it just kind of goes, and you can't really find it, and then it just kind of it becomes a section, and that section bleeds into other things, and it just that can happen, but it's because they don't want to play. But I think our job is to figure out how to make them want to play with you, and sometimes it's just gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
And if especially if you're trying to make people laugh at something they how do I explain this they would never laugh at, right? So we don't know anything about the crowd that comes in. We don't know about their day. We don't know what religion they are. We don't know their political feelings. We're making them laugh at stuff that they would never laugh at. And the way I say that is my political belief might not be your political belief, but I do a joke about it. Does that make you laugh? Right? That's what we have to do. My religious belief, can I make you laugh with that? Right? So, but just sometimes people, I don't know. It just
they want the comedy to happen to them.
But isn't it so bizarre when a fucking group of 300 people do not like you at one time. You're just like, what?
What are the odds?
Yeah. They're just like, really? So we got every person that has not enjoyed me and put them together at once? All right.
That would be a really funny prank.
I do remember a Mitch Hedberg joke like that. That was like, yeah, you can please all of the people some of the time, and you can't please all of the people all of the time, and all of those people last night were at my show.
You did comedy with Mitch, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever do the road with him? I always wondered what he was like in like Montana. How did that go?
No, so when I started, Mitch lived in Seattle. Okay. I started in Vancouver, and he used to come up and stay with me in Vancouver, and we used to go and do these sets around town and have like one-nighters and stuff. But I never traveled him. Weirdly enough, he married a girl that was at my first ever open mic.
Really?
Yeah. She also got hit by 2 cars.
At the same time?
No, at the same time.
Okay.
That wasn't
like a Meet Joe Black thing.
Meet Joe Black. I was gonna say an Eiffel Tower thing.
Jesus.
She took one from the front and one from the back.
What kind of street was this?
It
was a one-way.
A streetcar called Desire, I'll tell you that. Yeah, but he used to come out. I was very much in the vein of him when I started out, one-liners. I think we started out both being influenced by Stephen Wright.
Okay.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
And he just took, you know what, him and changed it he changed it into his own thing, and it was amazing. It was great to watch. Saddest thing was, I remember seeing him in Montreal the year I got a fucking black belt. Like, that's how long when
So it was like 2005.
Right.
yeah. So that's when Mitch died, and I remember thinking, I haven't seen him look this good in a while. I remember we all sat around talking for a while, and I was just like, I'm so happy that he's doing well. And then, you know, shocked and surprised. You know, I was like, oh fuck. But that's the problem. Sometimes, you know, guys go back to doing things at the level that they left off at, and that's how they get taken down.
What do you think he would be doing now?
I think he would be doing stadiums.
Yeah.
I think.
You think his comedy would be the same, or you think he would have branched out in a different direction?
I think he'd be more acting. I think he would. I think you don't know, but I don't know, because you look at Dimitri Martin, he kind of disappeared for a while, you know, like, so would he taken a break? But I wish we could have found out. It would have been way better, right? Yeah, he was funny. He was really
He left his mark.
funny.
It's cool that you got to rub elbows with somebody. I also can't imagine you guys on the same bill. Did you do a lot of crowd work then?
I did a little crowd work.
Okay.
I didn't move. I was like
did you move the mic stand at least?
Nope.
Okay.
I didn't take the mic out of the mic stand. I was just like stiff, and he was probably more animated than I was at that time. So yeah, it was fun, and we both had long hair and a love of rock music, and just kind of So when you brought up the hair, I was like, hey, how does this guy know? How does this guy know that I had great hair?
Truck driver inspirations. Well, it is. It's 6:22. I know you wanted to get out of here.
I gotta wash my bowls before the show.
So,
you know what I do for the people of the show? I scrub my bowls before. I'll do
People
3.
should be grateful.
How about I do 3 more minutes, and then we'll go. We'll just wrap it up. Do you guys have a question you have asked? That you guys a closer question that you want answered?
I already asked him about the grizzly bear.
Oh, yes.
I plan to not ask you about Andy Dick.
This is Andy Dick.
Yeah. I by happenstance was on his Wikipedia page.
On his.
Yeah, and I knew you were doing. I was like, this is remarkable that something about Ian showed up on.
What did it say? What did it say?
It said during a performance by Ian Bagg, I believe it was at the Comedy Store.
The Improv.
Yeah. Oh, it was at the Improv. Yeah. That in the wake of Michael Richards, that he charged the stage and did the same Michael Richards bit, which is
that's right. That's what it was for.
Call the crowd a bunch of N-words. And then he issued an apology to you and to the owners of the Improv.
Sorry,
wait, what?
He did, but I didn't understand why. Like I was like, hey man, I just got raped by Andy Dick, right? That's what I said on stage, right? Because he kind of touched me, and I was like, I just got raped by Andy Dick. Everybody else gets money, and I didn't.
Yeah, you're too pretty here.
But as soon as I was a gorgeous man, people can't keep their eyes off me. I got a couple chin hairs. People want to suck on them. Anyway.
Oh God, he put it up.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be my chin hair.
Oh yeah, see, upset an audience at the Improv by shouting, "Yep, what I said."
They weren't. They weren't.
There was hardly any of them. There's hardly any of them.
No, everybody's just like, "Oh, there goes Andy." When continued on, or like, honest to God, like the crowd didn't flinch at all. It wasn't like the show. Yeah, I remember it was like TMZ was just a new website, so there wasn't any videos. So they just had like news clippings and that, and I was just like, "Oh, that's interesting that my name's in there." And I'm like, "That didn't happen." Here's what happened: he went up there and bombed again, and I took it and I saved the day by not letting him say the N-word. I took over and I said, "Whitey, whitey, whitey," 75 times, and everybody was fine.
How many whiteys equals
one?
It's like how many Hail Marys I have to do at confession kind of question.
Yeah. You got to say, whitey, whitey, whitey. You got to say 75 whiteys every time you say an N-word.
Wow. Well, for Andy Dick,
you know what the saddest part about that? There's people out there. I'll take that deal.
Oh, God. Okay, do we end on that note? Is that
well, it's time to wrap this up just before we're having fun there until the races just came flying out of the bear closet. Thanks for having me to Black Panther Party Show, guys.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to promote before we go for all?
Well, I know it's a big Seattle podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be gone by the time this comes out.
Right.
Just from the city. I'll still be on the earth. You can follow me on YouTube. Go to my YouTube, Ian Bagg. Go to my Instagram. And I hate Instagram. They're just they throttle me every so often, and it drives me. I hate to tell you. Anyways, I don't know why.
Choking the viewers.
Yeah, I'm on tour all the time, so come out and see a show. Selling out quick, boys.
Absolutely.
When does this come out?
2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
At most.
Just wrapped up at Joe Rogan's club, so you think you saying the N-word scares people? That's not. I've just gotten back from the flat Earth.
Wait, the Earth is flat?
That's in Austin, certain parts.
In Austin. Yeah. Congratulations, guys. Really funny show.
Thank you.
Well, thanks. Thanks for coming
Really
on.
fun. Really fun to be in. You guys are really fun.
Thank you.
And to the people at home, fuck you. No.
Welcome back to the Second Lunch Podcast. Sorry, that's the second time this episode. Ian had to get out of here. He's got responsibles. He's got to go make sure that his balls are clean. These are his words.
Yeah.
That his balls are clean for
as promised.
His show tonight. Yeah, it's got to be in the fine print on the
as
tickets,
advertised.
No doubt. Yeah. Ian, clean balls bag. That's what the bag is all about, really. It's
clean bag.
About the ball bag. So we're going to do a little bit more here to wrap this episode up. Thanks again to Ian Bagg. Everybody go follow Ian on social media. He's very funny, and he posts a lot of clips and stuff. So, yeah, you will be constantly entertained. And as he said, you should definitely go see him. I remember first time I saw Ian. In fact, this is the first time I've seen him since. I'm really surprised he came on because I did one weekend with him on accident. I used to, when I was really depressed, remember I was talking about how my entire apartment was in the back of my car?
Yeah.
That happened for like months. I didn't have
Ian
the heart.
Met you in that state?
Yeah, he did. He met me in that window. I didn't have the heart to take it out. But anyway, what I used to do, for a couple years, was I would go to Laughs because they'd let me watch every show for free since I was a comic. And so I'd go for the Thursday show and I'd watch every show the whole weekend. So I would see every headliner like 5 times. And it was always interesting to see how people would change their material around a little bit.
Yeah.
But no comic had a completely fucking different set like Ian did. It broke me a little bit. Yeah. I was like, oh, I can't do that. That'll never happen. So, there's no 2 Ian Bagg shows the same. So if you get the chance to see him even more than once, you should definitely do it.
I know I took my opportunity to ask about Andy Dick, but I should have asked him about Norm on Last Comic Standing too. Not to just ask him about other people with his career, but it's
right. I think
the quote that I sent you about be the next big comic in Canada is fucking cool.
Right. Well, I think he had a good time. There's probably a chance we'll get him back on. But
Yeah,
certainly
I would love to.
Certainly our biggest guest today. That was pretty cool. So,
swinging on the prior guests.
yeah. Well, let's see when they have 5 specials.
That's true. Monica will get there. All right, which now sounds like I'm swinging on all the people I didn't name other than Monica. All right.
Sorry, David Nolan.
Yeah, right. Got to name Mike.
Paunch. Alyssa.
Well,
when Alyssa has 5 comedy specials.
That's yes. Then we're all doing the comedy. Okay, we're gonna do finish up this week in history and then do a Gucci or Greasy, right?
Sweet.
So, November 12th, 1941, World War II. Temperatures around Moscow drop to 10 degrees as the Soviet Union launches ski troops for the first time against the freezing German forces. Is that the least intimidating way to get murdered? Is by a troop on skis?
This is like getting pulled over by a bike cop. Fuck. That is brutal, dude. It's like your obituary just has to read, "How didn't you get away?"
Yeah. It's also, weren't we talking about this recently, like silly Olympic sports and the modern pentathlon?
Right.
And I think that one has like skiing and shooting. It's like, well, fuck, now I understand. It's for the Nazis. when you're defending the capital city of Russia, you might have to do both of these.
Who would have ever thought they were such good multitaskers?
Yeah, I think as far as assuming that it's just other forms of transport, I think the only other thing that would be sillier is like getting murdered by a hot air balloon troop. Or a jet ski troop. I mean, because it's got a
basket in the sky. Yeah, that would be bad.
Connected to a flame.
Now I got to think about this a little more. Bumper cars, something. No, I don't know. I think that something with clowns.
For the kids. Yeah, okay, a clown car full of troops that murder you would also be not ideal.
That would be crazy, though. You see a Fiat pull up and 12 people get out. What the fuck?
Now I'm fucked. All right, November 14th, 1957, the Appalachian meeting in rural upstate New York is raided by law enforcement. Many high-level mafia figures are arrested while trying to flee. Have you ever attempted to flee from the police?
Oh, my God. No, I've only ever seen that happen once outside of cops. I've only seen that happen once in real life. It was crazy to see. It was also happening a lot more slowly than I thought. You think when you're watching it on Cops that this is like 30 miles an hour these people are running? Not that fast. Body cam is just jiggling around and really make it look quick.
Turns out the human eyeball is way more wide frame than a camera. You can really see the expanse of space. How not fast they're moving.
It's pretty slow motion, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
I have to say, because I see those videos and like I don't know. I always briefly I wanted to be a cop before I realized how many bad people are. Anyway, we'll probably have to cut this. Because I fucking hate bad guys. People who do bad things need to be punished. Like
right.
I believe very much in justice, and so I wanted to be a cop for a little while. I have to say, every time I've seen one of those videos where somebody's running away, I'm always like, fucking get him. But there's also that thing, like you ever have it when you're running up the stairs or something, you're running and somebody's chasing you and you feel like, oh fuck, I gotta kick it up.
Overdrive.
Yeah, I gotta kick, like that feeling of being like I have to run.
Yeah,
I feel like that has to be happening in that situation. I've
absolutely.
never really thought about that before, but yeah.
I
used to always feel like, okay, you gotta get the bad guy.
Yeah. I ran from the cops a lot when I was a kid, but it was always just like drinking in parks.
A lot?
Yeah, like not like, I mean, single digit, but like more than a half dozen, around 10.
I've had maybe like, 3 total interactions with
to
cops.
be fair though, this is not like 2 cops on foot with just me like fleeing and like they're after me. Like, no, there's like 30 kids here. Like they're probably just trying to scare us. They're not really
making noise.
I'm running, but they're not that dedicated to catching me.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. It's like, on a TV show like Cops, depends on what you did. You're punching up your spouse or something, like, yeah, get that asshole. But me drinking in the park, let the kid, let him run for it.
Weren't you the one who was telling me about an episode of Cops where there's guys fighting with sticks or something?
Oh, yeah, they had 2 boards. Yeah. It was sort of frontier justice. Yeah, because because a cop pulls up on two fellas fighting outside. And I don't watch Cops because I always hate those episodes where a guy's like, this is your third strike. You're going to jail for 25 years. Like, that's your life.
Depressing, yeah.
But, like, dumbass stuff that's, like, going to land you in the drunk tank for a day. Like, dude, you're not even... That's like a $100 fine. You're going to be okay. Yeah. Is this even on your record? But, yeah, they pulled up, and there's two shirtless guys and, to use Ian's parlance, a kerfuffle. And the cop is like, guys, you know, breaks up the fight and talks to both of them. Is like, what's going on, you know? And I think it's a father-in-law and the son-in-law getting into it. And the father-in-law is explaining as he bleeds from a cheek, you know, he had one board, I had one board. It's a fair fight. And the cop sort of takes it into account. Like, that is fair indeed. They agreed. It's mutual combat. Okay.
I love that. It's like, no, this isn't assault. We both had boards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right? Like, it's still a deadly weapon. Like, but what if he had one too? That doesn't make it.
Yeah, what if you both had guns? I mean...
Yeah, see, you've taken it to its appropriate logical extreme, but to old Jebediah there down in Tuscaloosa.
Well, they're just boards.
Yeah.
I'm pretty dehydrated, too. It might snap. Who knows? You're not going to do that much damage. It's just a big splinter.
Roll Tide. I'm sure both of them had firearms in their vehicles, too, so I'm sure they were thinking, like, hey, we could have escalated
if this board doesn't work.
We could have gone way further than boards here.
If this board doesn't work, I'll go get the pistol.
All right, this week in history question, November 17th, 887. Yes, that is the year I meant to say.
This year after the Kentucky meat shower.
Not 1887, 887.
Oh, about 1,000 years before the Kentucky meat shower. Who knows? There might have been a meat shower that year.
I believe in it. Yeah, it can't be the only one.
I wonder how many unreported meat showers there's
got to at least be one guy that's like, they're never going to buy this.
There's no way.
There were frog legs.
That was beef. Frog legs, yeah.
All right, Emperor Charles the Fat is deposed by Frankish magnates. Is that a name assigned to you after death, or do you think somebody fucking called him that to his face?
Was it PH?
No, this is Charles the Fat.
Capital F. Yeah, this is after... You know, the sad thing is he was probably only like $2 bills.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, back then, I probably could have eaten that guy. Yeah, I think that's after your, probably at least your first cardiac arrest incident.
Oh, yeah.
God, did they revive people back then, or you just fucking die? What did they do when people started, like, when somebody grabbed their chest, like, whoa. What did they? Were they just like, oh fuck, he's gone? Look at him go.
I'm sure. Yeah, you just watch it like a NASCAR crash. Like, I can't do anything. I lack the skills.
I'm sure they didn't know CPR. Kick him! Kick his head!
Those people didn't have the Heimlich maneuver. You can just Google that. Heimlich was born after that. Before then, you just choked on whatever you ate and died. That was that.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's why everybody died at 31.
Make sure you...
It was all the stray salmon bones or whatever the fuck they were eating.
I was busy eating a sandwich and did me in. So... Okay, I like the idea of him being the Fat during his lifetime. But that's got to be a post-time. You can't... There's no way they were just calling him the Fat to his face. Because that's not... If they were trying to be, like, cool about it, they'd call him, like, the homely or the carbuncular or something. They called him the fucking Fat.
The Fat. Yeah. Not even you're fat. You're the fat.
You are, yeah.
You are so fat.
You're biblical fat.
All other fat is compared to you.
Yeah. It's part of your name. It's like a titular.
So wait. Was he royalty?
He was the actual emperor. He was.
Okay, yeah. So wasn't it? Wasn't back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it like cool for royalty to be fat?
Yeah, it's a sign of like opulence and wealth. But I think
that meant he was the most royal.
But when you call a guy fat, see, this is the problem. I think that being fat and being called fat, there's like an implication situation here. It's just not the same. And I did find out, I did do more research because I could not let this lie. He was not called that during his lifetime. Strictly a post-time.
Wow, that's almost more impressive because then even after he's dead, you know, when most people are forgotten
bones,
about,
yeah,
when most people are forgotten about, they're still looking at people like, yeah, he's fat, but He's not the fat.
He's not Charles the Fat. All right, he's merely the overweight. All right,
He's merely the overweight.
let's wrap this up. Let's do our last thing that we had here, which is Gucci or Greasy. It's too bad we couldn't ask Ian this one.
This would have been a great one.
But it's okay. It's a good enough question for us to pull off. Gucci or Greasy, the turducken. This is a case where the question itself is a bit of a double entendre because that is a grease pit of a fucking meal.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's greasy. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, are you kidding me?
It's
Many things you're just. Why are we doing Russian nesting dolls with our fucking food?
It's too much.
It's way too much. Why are you putting a corpse inside of a corpse? That's fucked up for whole other. Can you imagine if somebody fucking whacked you, right? You get murdered, and they're like, all right, put him in a horse.
Or they're just like loading me up with Cornish game hens right through the beehole.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't even think of that.
like
They're
fucking,
filling you up.
There's like a dozen of them. Yeah.
Oh, Colt's dead, and he's full of 8 dogs.
This is the worst meat piñata I've ever seen assembled.
Meat piñata. Oh my god.
Oh, it's
That's the episode name.
Because stuffing a turkey, like, don't get me wrong, people are like, oh, that's excessive, and as they should, that's fair. But that's just a grain product, it's fine. Like, stuffing, that's not an animal. You are putting food in another animal, but it's not the same level as an animal in another animal.
It also
That's a
seems
lot.
unnecessarily difficult to even cut because you're cutting through the turkey and then you're like, oh, there's another fucking thing to carve.
Well, in fairness, though, I agree, but they are all, like, spatched. They're all, like, spatch cut in the way where I think that the duck and
so
the
you just
chicken...
buy a turducken?
You can.
Turducked.
You can, but I think that both the duck and the chicken are fully deboned, if I'm not mistaken. So it makes it easier to get through.
Oh, it just makes it easier to put
that,
one in the other.
And I think the turkey might even be deboned. The whole thing, I think, is... That's why every time you've seen a cross-section, it's, like, perfectly spaced, because there's no... like rib cage or anything. Again, to do this to animals.
Let's zoom out here. Yeah, this is a bit much. This is a
lot much.
You gotta relax here.
Yeah.
This is Dahmer would have thought this was fucked.
Also, how many times? I would love to see the numbers. How many families every year? What percentage finish their whole turkey? My guess would be about fucking 0. So when you get a
Right.
turducken, it's like, are you eating that whole thing? Hey, if you are, no disrespect, but
The duck's probably the first to go.
Dude, I'm fucking cleaning off a turkey carcass every year to make like turkey sandwiches for a month.
And then you're still throwing out a third of the bird.
Right. If you don't make a big old turkey noodle soup, you're fucked. But yeah, I agree. I agree completely. It's greasy. The only Gucci thing about it are the hilarious segments that John Madden did with it. And I'm glad he's coming up again in this episode because, yeah, he is. There is one particular Monday Night Football where he just rips open a turducken on TV. His hands are a mess. He's standing there with like Al Michaels or Pat Summerall or somebody. He's explaining. He basically is doing the telestrator, like, see, this is the duck breast. And then at the end, he's just got these two greasy mitts, and he's like looking at the production staff, like, how do I get out of this pickle?
Somebody hold my mic for me.
But John Madden is the guy that really did bring it to national prominence. It was not a well-known dish before. He brought it up a bunch.
Sorry, platter.
Jake just said dish, which is a fair critique.
Air quotes. Major air quotes.
Yeah, food crime is probably more.
Food crime. What?
Yeah.
What do you think you could put in the turducken to just take the Russian nesting doll of food even further?
Oh my! Well, I
Something
said Cornish
and
game hens earlier. That'd be
okay.
You know, but well, yeah, that'd be like the smallest thing that'd fit in a chicken, unless you're getting weird. Like, all right, I got a gerbil in there.
Oh, and a chicken. You didn't even chicken? Could a chicken go in a duck?
Oh yeah, that is the in the turducken. There's
What?
3. Yeah, it's 3 animals.
What?
Yeah, it's not.
Oh,
just
I was
turkey, duck.
outraged by 2.
No, it's 3.
Christ.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. It's a lot.
You know what? I fucking hate birds, so that makes me feel a little bit better. At least that 3 dead ones. Fucking A.
I understand, but I do like ducks.
Ducks are pretty cool.
Yeah.
That of the birds, I agree with. I'm a duck guy.
And like you and I both eat meat. I'm not getting on some sort of high horse here, but the turducken, it's like if an animal is gonna die for you to eat the whole thing. And so when I see something like that, I'm like, dude, are you gonna eat this whole thing? Because
You're not even gonna eat half of one.
3
of these
lives went into this.
Right. I don't even eat the full fucking rotisserie chicken from Costco.
That's why I sometimes, even though it's a great deal, if I know I'm not going to eat much, like enough of it,
Well,
I won't even do it because it's. I know. Just a screaming deal.
Just go for it. Feed the rest of the dogs. Move on with your life.
Well, Chris, I think that makes for a great episode.
I think that's about it. Again, thank you to Ian Bagg. Follow Ian on social media. Also follow us on social media. I had somebody remind me this week that they were not aware that all of our episodes are on YouTube. So if you're listening to the podcast someplace and you'd rather watch, we have full video of every episode.
Yeah, even the first one when I had a whiteboard.
Yeah, I miss the whiteboard. On YouTube. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Follow us there. Oh, somebody please. Somebody please, for the love of Christ, start buying these koozies. We sold a couple, but Ian was happy to get his.
Yeah.
We're giving them away at this point. Actually, you know what? For a limited time, while supplies last, follow us on YouTube, and I'll send you a fucking koozie.
Yeah, post your address in the comments so everyone can see it.
Also, post your social. And anyway, thank you guys for listening, and Bucks and Six.
Bucks and Six.